There comes a moment in life when you suddenly stop and realize you don't really know the person living inside your own skin. You move through your days fulfilling expectations, repeating routines, wearing smiles that don't belong to you. And deep down, there's a voice, quiet, trembling, almost forgotten, that whispers, "Is this really me? Is this who I'm supposed to be?" Most people ignore that voice. They drown it in noise, distractions, and obligations. But you feel it. You know there's something missing. You know there's a part of you you've never met, a version of you that's been waiting in the shadows, begging to be discovered, begging to finally breathe. The truth is, you've been living on autopilot for so long that you've become a stranger to yourself. You know your password, your job title, your responsibilities, but you don't know your dreams. You know what others want from you, but you don't know what you truly want. And that realization hits different. It shakes you, it wakes you. Because somewhere along the way you stopped choosing your life and started drifting through it. But here's the breakthrough most people never experience. The moment you feel lost is actually the moment your life is about to change. Feeling lost isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign of awakening. It's the beginning of awareness. It's the first spark of consciousness saying, you were not born to be a copy. You were born to be original. And the discomfort you feel right now, that's your soul pushing you to finally meet the real you. Imagine standing face to face with the person you were meant to become, the one with fire in their eyes, courage in their voice, and purpose in their heartbeat. That person is not far away. They're right behind the walls you built to survive, behind the masks you wore to be accepted, behind the silence you kept to avoid conflict. Every day they've been knocking, waiting for you to open the door. And today, right now, you get to choose whether you walk away again, or whether you finally answer. Because the most life-changing journey you will ever take is not to a new city, a new job, or a new relationship. It's the journey inward. The journey to finally know yourself. And once you begin, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. We all walk through life wearing masks. Masks we didn't choose, masks we didn't question, masks we believed we needed just to survive. From childhood we learned to shape-shift. We learned to act strong even when we were breaking. We learned to smile to keep the peace, to stay quiet to avoid conflict, to shrink so others could feel comfortable. And with every mask we put on, we drifted a little further away from our true identity, not because we were weak, but because we were trying to be accepted in a world that rarely accepts authenticity. But here's the truth most people avoid. Those masks are heavy. They drain you. They suffocate your spirit. They keep you trapped in a performance you never auditioned for. You wake up every morning playing a character for society, for family, for friends, while the real you watches from behind the curtain, waiting to be acknowledged. And every time you hide your truth, every time you ignore your gut, every time you pretend to be fine when you're not, your soul pays the price. Think about it. How many times have you been the people pleaser, giving more than you had, hoping someone would finally give back? How many times have you been the perfectionist, terrified of making a mistake, fearing that one flaw would make you unlovable? How many times have you been the tough one, acting cold, acting strong, when deep inside all you wanted was understanding, not judgment? These masks protect you, but they also imprison you. And here's the powerful shift. The moment you recognize the mask, you break its power. Awareness is liberation. When you say, this is not who I am, this is who I became to survive. You reclaim your identity. You stop living for applause and start living with purpose. You stop pleasing the world and start honoring your soul. You stop hiding and start becoming. Removing your masks takes courage. It takes honesty. It takes a willingness to confront the parts of you that you've kept buried. But the reward, freedom, authenticity, inner strength, real confidence, not the loud fake confidence that masks insecurity, but the quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are. This is the moment you stop performing and start living. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs the real you. The raw you, the powerful you that's been waiting under all those layers. And once you step into that truth, everything in your life begins to rise. There is a moment in every powerful transformation when a person stops looking outward for answers and finally turns inward. That moment, quiet, brave, and often uncomfortable, is the beginning of self-awareness. And make no mistake, self-awareness is not some soft spiritual concept. It is raw power. It is the ability to see yourself clearly, without excuses, without ego, without fear. It is the moment you stop being a passenger in your own life and finally take the wheel. Most people never reach this level. They know the world around them, but they don't know themselves. They can describe everyone else's strengths, but they can't name their own. They understand what triggers others, but they have no idea what triggers them. They drift, they react, they repeat. They suffer the same emotions, the same patterns, the same mistakes, because they've never stopped long enough to understand why. But when you choose self-awareness, everything changes. Suddenly you begin to notice the thoughts you've been repeating for years, the thoughts that shaped your identity without your permission. You start to see the beliefs you inherited from family, culture, and past experiences. The beliefs that once protected you but now limit you. You start to recognize the habits that drain your power and the ones that build it. Nothing is hidden anymore. You become your own mirror. And this mirror doesn't judge you. It reveals you. It shows you your blind spots, the things others see but you've been ignoring. It shows you your emotional patterns, the roots of your reactions, the truth behind your fears. But it also shows you your gifts, your strengths, your hidden talents. It shows you the potential you've been carrying quietly, waiting for you to claim it. Self-awareness brings clarity, and clarity brings confidence. Real confidence. Confidence that doesn't need validation or applause. Confidence that says, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know where I'm going. That clarity cuts through confusion, through doubt, through insecurity. It gives you direction. It gives you purpose. It gives you power. This is the turning point where your life stops controlling you and you start controlling your life. Because the more you understand yourself, the more unstoppable you become. And once you reach that level of awareness, there is no going back. You rise differently. You move differently. You choose differently. You live awake, alive, and fully in command of your own destiny. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Every struggle you've survived, every heartbreak that shattered you, every disappointment that stole your breath, none of it happened to break you. It happened to reveal you. Life doesn't use comfort to shape strong people. It uses pressure, chaos, and moments that force you to meet the parts of yourself you never knew existed. And the truth is, your pain contains more information about who you truly are than any success ever will. Think about the moments that hurt you the most, the betrayal that taught you who deserves access to your heart, the failure that showed you what needed to change, the loss that forced you to see what matters, the loneliness that pushed you to discover your own worth. Pain is not random. Pain is a roadmap. It shows you what you fear, what you value, what you're attached to, and what you've been avoiding. It exposes the exact areas of your life that need healing, strengthening, or letting go. Most people run from pain. They numb it, bury it, distract it, deny it. But the ones who become powerful are the ones who stop running and finally face it. Because when you confront your pain, you learn from it. You gain clarity, you gain wisdom, you gain self-respect. You begin to see patterns that once felt invisible, why you react the way you do, why certain things trigger you, why you keep repeating the same emotional cycles. And with that awareness, you gain control over your life again. Your pain also reveals your deepest desires. You hurt in the areas that matter most. If rejection crushes you, it's because you long for connection. If failure terrifies you, it's because you dream of greatness. If criticism wounds you, it's because you care about your impact. Pain points directly to your passion, your purpose, your core identity. The place you feel the most broken is often the place you're meant to rise the highest. And here's the breakthrough. Once you understand your pain, it stops controlling you. It stops defining you. It becomes fuel, not fear. It becomes your power, not your prison. The strongest, most unstoppable version of you is always born from the moments you thought would destroy you. Your pain is your compass. Your pain is your transformation. And if you're brave enough to learn from it, it will lead you straight to the person you were always meant to become. Your passion is not an accident. It's not random. It's the purest, most powerful expression of who you are beneath the expectations, the noise, and the roles you've been forced to play. Passion is your soul's way of reminding you why you're alive. It's that pull, that spark, that fire inside your chest that refuses to die, no matter how many times life tries to bury it. Think back to the moments when you felt most alive, the times when hours disappeared and you didn't even notice, because something inside you was wide awake. That wasn't just excitement, that was alignment, that was the real you breaking through the surface, trying to show you your direction. Passion is not simply what you like, it's what transforms you. It's what gives you energy instead of taking it. It's what you do even if no one was watching, even if there was no applause, even if there was no reward. But here's the heartbreaking truth. Most people abandon their passion the moment the world tells them it's unrealistic. They silence their enthusiasm to fit into expectations. They trade the fire in their heart for the security of comfort. They convince themselves to be practical, not realizing they're sacrificing their purpose. But passion never goes away. It waits. It waits beneath the surface, calling you back, reminding you that you weren't made for an ordinary life. To know yourself, you must reconnect with what excites you. Ask yourself, what could I talk about for hours and never get tired? What did I love as a child before the world told me who to be? What activity makes me forget my worries and feel fully present? These questions aren't small. They are gateways to your identity. Your passion is proof of your talent, proof of your calling, proof of your potential. And when you follow your passion, something incredible happens. You stop forcing yourself to move forward. You start being pulled forward. Your passion becomes your fuel, your motivation, your compass. It brings courage where fear used to live. It brings clarity where confusion once ruled. It brings purpose where emptiness used to sit. You don't find passion, you remember it. It's already inside you, waiting for permission to rise. And once you claim it, once you truly embrace what sets your soul on fire, you become unstoppable. Because a person fueled by passion isn't just living, they're becoming who they were destined to be. Your values are the invisible laws that shape your entire life, whether you realize it or not. They are the inner rules you live by, the boundaries you defend, the instincts that guide your choices, even when you can't explain why. When you honor your values, you feel alive, confident, aligned. When you betray them, you feel lost, drained, confused. That's why knowing your values isn't optional, it's essential. Because without them, you're not living your life, you're living someone else's. Think about the moments in your life when you felt proud, powerful, unshakable. Those were moments when your actions matched your values. Maybe you stood up for someone. Maybe you told the truth when lying was easier. Maybe you pushed forward when quitting was tempting. Those moments weren't random. They revealed what matters to you at your core: integrity, growth, freedom, faith, loyalty, contribution. These aren't just words, they are the compass points of your identity. Now think about the times you felt frustrated, trapped, or deeply unhappy, even when everything looked fine. On the outside. That feeling wasn't failure, it was misalignment. Maybe you stayed in a job that crushed your creativity. Maybe you kept friendships that drained your energy. Maybe you tolerated habits that went against your standards. When your life violates your values, your soul rebels. That discomfort is your inner alarm system telling you, this is not who you are, this is not where you belong. Most people never discover their values because they're too busy chasing acceptance. They follow the crowd, obey expectations, and copy what everyone else is doing. But the moment you identify your true values, everything changes. Decisions become easier, boundaries become stronger, relationships become clearer. You stop saying yes to things that steal your energy. and start saying yes to things that build your future. You stop seeking permission and start seeking alignment. To know yourself, ask the real questions. What do I stand for? What do I refuse to compromise? What principles make me feel proud to be me? Your top 5 values will reveal your identity more accurately than any personality test ever could. They tell you who you are at your best. They tell you what you must protect. They tell you what you must pursue. And once you build your life around your values, your real values, you stop drifting, you start choosing, you start rising. Because a person who knows their values doesn't just survive the world, they lead it. There is a version of you that moves through life with power, certainty, and direction, and that version is unlocked the moment you recognize your strengths. Most people spend their whole lives obsessing over what they lack, constantly trying to fix their weaknesses, chasing skills they don't enjoy, and forcing themselves into roles that dim their potential. But you weren't designed to live in your weaknesses. You were designed to rise through your angst. You are strongest, most alive, most confident when you operate from the gifts you were born with, not the ones you were pressured to develop. Your strengths are not accidents, they are patterns, consistent, powerful patterns in how you think, feel, and act. Maybe you're naturally empathetic, able to sense what others need without a word. Maybe you're bold, a risk-taker who sees opportunity where others see fear. Maybe you're analytical, creative, disciplined, or relentlessly driven. These qualities aren't random. They're the fingerprints of your identity. But here's the problem. Most people don't recognize their strengths because strengths feel natural. They come so easily that you assume everyone can do what you do. You underestimate your talent because you've never seen how rare it is. You downplay your abilities because the world taught you to be humble, to stay quiet, to avoid standing out. But the truth is, your confidence will only grow when you finally acknowledge what makes you powerful. To know yourself, you must study your strength patterns. What energizes you? What tasks make you feel unstoppable? What do people constantly praise you for? What do others struggle with that feels effortless to you? These are not coincidences. They are clues. They point directly to the areas where you have natural advantage, and success becomes dramatically easier when you stop swimming against the current and start flowing in the direction of your strengths. Your strengths are also your purpose indicators. They reveal where you can create the most impact, where you can lead, where you can excel beyond the average. The world doesn't reward the person who tries to be good at everything. It rewards the person who becomes great at the one thing only they can do. And once you embrace your strengths fully, unapologetically, your life transforms. Decision-making becomes clay. Error. Taking action becomes faster. Confidence becomes natural. You stop doubting yourself because you finally understand yourself. This is your power. This is your edge. This is who you were built to be. There is a strength most people never develop, the strength to confront their own limits, not the limits the world placed on them, but the limits they placed on themselves, the insecurities they hide, the fears they deny, the emotional patterns they pretend don't exist. This is your shadow self, the part of you made of wounds, mistakes, doubts, and unspoken truths. And knowing this part of yourself is not weakness, it's mastery. Because you cannot conquer what you refuse to face. Most people spend their lives running from their shadows. They avoid the hard questions. They numb their emotions. They build walls so high that even they forget what's behind them. But the shadow never disappears. It just grows more powerful in the dark. It shows up in self-sabotage, in destructive habits, in choosing the wrong people, in quitting too early, in doubting too much. Your shadow will run your life if you don't learn to look it in the eye. Here is the truth. Your limits are not there to shame you. They are there to guide you. Your fears reveal where you lack trust. Your jealousy reveals what you deeply desire. Your anger reveals what you're protecting. Your procrastination reveals what you're afraid to start. Every negative emotion is a message, not a flaw. When you choose to study your limits, you gain access to the blueprint of your inner world. Real growth begins the moment you stop pretending to be invincible and start becoming honest. Honest about your emotional triggers. Honest about your unhealthy patterns. honest about the things you keep running from. This honesty is not weakness, it's liberation, because the moment you acknowledge a limit, you gain the power to break it. Rise above it, or transform it. Knowing your limits also means knowing when something no longer serves you. It means setting boundaries. It means saying no without guilt. It means understanding that not every fight deserves your energy, not every person deserves your time, and not every situation deserves your peace. This is not giving up. This is growing up. The greatest leaders, the strongest warriors, the most resilient souls are not the ones with no flaws. They are the ones who faced their flaws and rebuilt themselves from the inside out. When you confront your limits, they stop being your ceiling and start becoming your foundation. You rise stronger, clearer, wiser. Because the most powerful version of you is not the one who hides their shadows, but the one who transforms them into strength. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the version of you you've always wanted to be. The one who walks with certainty, speaks with confidence, thinks with clarity, and lives with purpose. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is not some distant dream. It is a blueprint waiting to be activated. Your future self is already alive inside your mind, calling you, guiding you, pushing you forward every time you feel the urge to change your life. And the moment you decide to know that version of yourself, your entire identity begins to shift. Most people let their past define them. They let old mistakes, old fears, and old stories hold them hostage. But the truth is, your past is not your identity. Your past is your starting point. Your future self is your direction. Your future self knows what you're capable of. They know your potential. They know your strength. They know the life you were built to live. And every time you feel a spark of inspiration, every time you feel a desire to grow, every time you feel the pull to evolve, that's your future self reaching back saying, "Come find me." To know your future self, you must ask the real questions. How does that version of you think? What habits do they practice daily? How do they respond to challenges? What environments do they choose? What standards do they refuse to lower? The more clearly you define your future self, the more powerfully you move toward them. Because identity shapes behavior. When you start thinking like the person you want to become, you naturally begin acting like them. This is the psychology of transformation. You don't rise because of motivation. You rise because of identity. The moment you see yourself differently, your entire life aligns differently. Your decisions become cleaner. Your discipline becomes stronger. Your priorities become sharper. You stop chasing temporary comfort and start choosing long-term greatness. You stop doubting your path and start embodying it. Your future self is not waiting for you to be perfect. They're waiting for you to choose growth, to choose discipline, to choose courage, to choose the next level. Every time you take a step toward the future version of you, you shed a layer of the past. You become lighter, clearer, more powerful. And one day you will look in the mirror and realize, I am no longer becoming. I am now the person I once dreamed of being. That is the moment everything changes. You have spent years learning about the world, following instructions, obeying rules, and seeking approval. You have memorized paths, absorbed expectations, and chased definitions of success that weren't yours. And yet, after all of that, something deep inside still whispers, you don't know yourself. You have not truly lived. You have not yet become. That whisper is the most powerful voice you will ever hear, because it is your soul calling you home. It is the voice of the real you, waiting patiently, urging you to step forward, urging you to claim the life you were born to live. The truth is, no one else can give you what you seek. No teacher, no mentor, no job, no relationship can reveal the real you. That journey is yours and yours alone, and the first step is the hardest, but also the most rewarding. You must decide, in this very moment, to stop living for the expectations of others. You must decide to stop hiding behind masks. You must decide to finally meet the person who has been waiting your whole life, the authentic, powerful, unstoppable you, Your path will not be easy. Self-discovery is messy. It is uncomfortable. It challenges everything you thought you knew. It forces you to face pain you've avoided, fears you've ignored, and truths you've denied. But that discomfort is proof that you are growing. That struggle is the birth of your strength. Every tear, every fear, every moment of doubt is the seed of transformation. And once you commit, once you lean into that fire, there is no limit to how high you can rise. Today is not just another day. Today is the day you break free from autopilot. Today is the day you refuse to be a stranger to yourself any longer. Today is the day you begin the most important journey of your life, the journey inward. Journal your thoughts, sit in silence, ask the hard questions, face your shadows, recognize your strengths, reclaim your passions, define your values, imagine your future self, and then step toward them relentlessly, without hesitation, without apology. Because the person you were born to be is waiting. They are waiting for your courage, your discipline, your honesty, and your fire. And the moment you choose to answer that call, the moment you truly know yourself, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. You will rise, you will conquer, you will become, and the world will finally witness the greatness you were always destined to reveal.